This is Roger Clayton with Song Construction, and this is a very old song of mine called Alone with the Stars. Turn to dawn. Now you know love's not a game. It's just to relieve growing pains when you are alone, girl, and your bed's like stone, girl. Just remember what we had. Such a lovely dream, but it was just a dream, just a dream. Hi, this is Roger Clayton with Song Construction, and that is the oldest song that I have that I still play. I've written older songs, but I don't play any of those. I was 17, I believe, 17 or 18, somewhere in there when I wrote that. And I want to talk about building a song from a riff. Now, that may sound kind of weird to somebody out there, but it is the main way a lot of us write. It's number one way I write, and especially in rock, blues, and country, a lot of people use a riff. Let's see. Book on the Water. Great riff. Or a country song. Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash. I'm not big into country, but I love Johnny Cash. He's a hero of mine. Great songwriter. But the thing is, many songwriters build on that riff, that foundational riff. I was watching something on the Black Album by Metallica a while back, and I wrote this down. James Hetfield said two different things about a good riff. He said a good riff is the meat of the song. Another place he said a riff is the spine of the whole song. And that's beautiful. I mean, I don't know how I could say it any better. Many times that's what everything else, the vocal melody, it'll point you to a lyric many times. The way this song happened, and even though it's very old, I remember when I wrote this, I'd heard some classical music on the radio, and I'd heard a riff that either ascended or descended within the key. And it stayed, I don't know any other way to explain it. I'm not a real technical musician, but I started looking for a way to do something like that. Now, what I came up with was totally different than what I heard. You know, I don't think it's wrong to get musical ideas from other people. Just don't blatantly rip people off, because that's just boring. Be original. But I began to experiment. At first, I came up with this. And I actually started to write that for my bass player, because I was playing in a band, and I thought, well, that would make a really cool bass line. But I really wanted to keep it with guitar. I tried it as a rhythm thing, and I kind of did this. And I thought, that sounds okay, but still kind of boring. But then as I experimented, I came up with this. When I came up with that, I said, that's the one. Now, when I started playing that, before I got to the vocals, and I bring that in on I don't bring it in on the main key, I bring it on the G chord, gets a couple steps lower. And a lot of times I'll do that. When I bring the vocals in, I don't always bring it in on the main key. I don't know, it just gives it a fresh sound when you do that. I've got blues songs, for instance, that the whole intro will be an A, and then when the vocals come in, I move it to an E, even though it's, you know, the song's in A. So that's something musically you can play around with. But the way I came up with the lyric of this, I'm going to talk about personal experience, because this came from two different things I had experienced and was experiencing at the moment. First off, I said to myself when I was playing that, it's got kind of a haunting, hypnotic sound, you know, feel to it. So that stuck in my head. So I came up with that first verse. Now I'm walking down the highway. It's just me and my guitar. I have a hypnotic feeling. I'm alone with the stars. Now that came from an actual experience. When I was 15 years old, I ran away from home. Me, my guitar, $50, and the clothes on my back. I hitchhiked from Okeechobee, Florida. And if you look at a map of Florida, you see that big lake. That's where I started. And I went all the way upstate to Jacksonville. I was headed for Middleburg. I had a good friend, my lifelong friend, who played rhythm guitar and sang, and I played lead and sang and wrote songs. So I was thinking, I'll go to his house, stay a little while, then we'll hitchhike to Nashville and make it big. You know, that's when you're 15 years old, you can do anything. But I remember when I got out of my second to the last ride in Jacksonville, and I began to walk toward Middleburg, Florida. After a while, I got out where I could see the stars. I got out of the city. And as I looked up at the stars, I had this incredible emotion. I mean, you know, I'm 15 years old. First time I've ever been on my own. There was a little bit of fear, a lot of awe, and a feeling of control of my destiny. I felt empowered. I don't know. It's really kind of hard to put it into words, but that's kind of what inspired. Now I'm walking down the highway. It's just me and my guitar. I have a hypnotic feeling. I'm alone with the stars. Then when I came back to the riff, I said, so strange to be alone, to feel the night wind blowing, to not know where I'm going, but I'm going nonetheless. And then this line, I must send Lorraine my best because I won't be coming home again. And I built the rest of the song around that. Well, at the time I wrote this, I just broke up with a girl that I've been with for a long time. We had a real serious relationship, and she wasn't taking too good to the breakup. But that's what inspired her. Her name was not Lorraine. I just used that because it was better than her actual name. And I usually don't use anybody that inspires a lyric. I don't usually use their song for obvious reasons. But Lorraine was better than her name. So I use that. So I drew from those experiences. So this week's lesson is basically about building on a riff and using your own experiences, drawing from things that you, as I said earlier in an earlier lesson, drawing from things that you've gone through or are going through and putting that to music. I'm not saying everybody can do it, but you may be one of the people. You may have the next big hit record in you. Who knows? So again, if anything I say helps you out, gives you a little clue on what you can do, then go for it. And if you have a band and you've got a good riff writer in your band, man, you can build. I mean, you know, I was reading an article recently with Jimmy Page. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and they have influenced me a lot as a songwriter. But Page kind of was saying those riffs are kind of ethereal. In other words, we don't really know where they come from. And I don't know how to tell you to write a good riff. I just jam and play around with the guitar until something cool happens. And sometimes I hear it before I play it. Many times I just start hearing it in my head. A lot of times if I'm working on something and I get stuck, I'll just get quiet and I'll just sit there quietly and listen, and I'll hear what I need to do next, and then I'll find it on the guitar. I don't know. I don't know if that helps you any. I hope it does. Try it. Try to write. Try to build on a good riff. And many songwriters do it, whether they admit it or not. Many great songwriters. Zeppelin did it. Metallica does it. Everybody does it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you end up with a good song, that's what counts. And that riff is the part of the song musically that people are going to remember. It's the hard driving. And it's not just in rock. It's in country. It's in blues and a lot of different types of music. So this is Roger Clayton with Song Construction. And to all you songwriters out there, happy songwritings. See you next week, same time, same channel.